it's the gallery profile, which means it's 1.5 inch thick, and it is splined, okay? Doesn't really matter what canvas you use. That is a personal choice. I prefer the thicker ones, but you do you. I'm a great proponent of you do you. So we're just gonna peel this off. We're gonna get all this stuff off of here. And I'm gonna try not to wiggle too much because my table is wonky. So we're gonna get all this off our 10 by 10 canvas. And I'm actually gonna leave this. Let me see if I can leave this here, because this is the biggest question we get while we are live. All right, so let me see. Can you see that? I wanna make sure that you can see both of those things before I get started again. While I pop off the, I wanna see if you can see that. Let me squish it down. I'm gonna pop the top off my plaster and then we'll talk about the plaster. Look how perfect that is, okay? So what I'm using today is Venetian plaster, okay? You do not have to use Venetian plaster. You can use any thick-bodied paint or any Valspar, like this, I'm sorry. I'm doing the squirrel thing. So I'm going to because I'm like sleep deprived, or I was, but I still feel kind of ghosty. I'm gonna let some of my people here answer questions for now until we're done, and then I will answer any questions that we have left. What I'm using is Valspar Venetian plaster right off the shelf from Lowe's, okay? Now, a lot of the Lowe's in the country are not carrying this anymore. I guess it wasn't selling well. So if you can find it in your store, you might want to grab a can if you're going to be painting with me a lot, because this is the best stuff ever. I'm not sure why they're discontinuing it, but they are. So I have several cans so I don't run out for as long as I can. You go, Barbara. So this is Valspar Venetian plaster. It only comes in gallon size. And right now you can probably get it for about 20 bucks. And we're gonna use this to plaster our canvas, but you do not have to use this. You can use modeling paste, you can use heavy bodied paint, whatever you want that has some thickness and texture to it. Now I have a bag down in my can because it's almost empty, and I'm trying to keep the air off my plaster so that it lasts long enough for me to use it all. So that bag takes up space in the can and allows air not to get in there. So right now this stuff is on clearance at most stores in the country for half price or more sometimes. The last can I got was 20 bucks. So we're gonna use this to apply to our canvas. And then I'm also gonna add in a little bit of pearl paint. This is Anita's Pearl. And I'm going to add in a bit of Anita's Titanium Gold and a small amount of Folk Art Taupe, which is metallic as well. So all three of these are metallic. So we're gonna make a little bit of a metallic abstract piece with the plaster and the colors. We're gonna mix it all together. And then when it dries, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna add some glass and some resin to this. Really kind of wanted to just show you guys some of the things we learn inside the Shattered Circle, because we do like to introduce new projects and new products and play with fun things. So what I'm gonna do, I don't want that big dried up little thingy there. So what I'm gonna do is use my palette knife, and I should have brought a bigger one, but it is what it is. I'm gonna dump a whole bunch onto my canvas because I wanna work fast, because I do wanna get my canvas covered, but I also want it to be wet enough that I can add the color in that I want. So I'm gonna put a glob of this on my canvas, and fairly quickly, I'm just gonna cover, and you can move in all directions. I'm just gonna cover my canvas just to the point that you don't see the canvas texture. It doesn't have to be super thick, but you know, if you want it super thick, you do you. I'm gonna do me. I want it just thick enough that you can't see the texture of the canvas. And the thicker it is, this will crackle on your canvas. The thicker it is, the bigger it will crackle. So if you don't want crackle, you want to apply it really thin to minimize the crackle, okay? So it will crackle, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. If you use modeling paste, that won't crackle unless you put it on really super thick. So I need one more dollop. One more dollop of daisy. Dollop of daisy. I'm ready for summer, y'all, so much. I'm dying to just take off, get in my brand new little car. Y'all know my little Cadillac died on me a couple weeks ago. So I had to get a different car, and I'm ready to take off. So now that I have it all covered, and I'm not even worrying about what it looks like, the texture of it right now, okay? I'm gonna stick that into some water real quick and rinse it off, and then I'm gonna come back with a different one. So first thing I'm gonna do is add a little bit of white, and I'm literally going to squirt it on my canvas. So just a blob or two of the pearl. Hang on, there's something stopping it up. There's a little something in there. I'm gonna add a blob or two, top and bottom, of the metallic pearl. I got a Ford Expedition. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of this titanium gold, and I'm gonna do the same thing, except I'm gonna add it like at the 2/3 line. I don't wanna dead center it because I hate things that are perfectly symmetrical. So I'm gonna kinda add it a little low. That might have been too much, but we'll deal with that. And now we're gonna add a little bit of the lighter color, which is the taupe, the metallic taupe, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that, I'm gonna turn this upside down for 1 second because it's just, or this way, it's just easier for me not to get that all in my hands. So now I'm just barely touching my canvas and I'm pulling that paint through my plaster, okay? I'm actually gonna add, oops, a smidge of just plain white, not metallic, just plain white, just in a couple of spots. And you know, there's no rhyme and reason to where I'm applying, it's just where I want to, okay? So everything's metallic but that white. So I'm gonna pull my paint through that plaster really lightly. You're just barely touching, okay? Just barely touching and pulling. All right, now let's do this color down here. There's like a little paint booger or something right there. Let's get that out. So just really smooth. Pull your color. I'm gonna wipe that off. There's a dip in my canvas right here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's giving me fits. So I'm gonna have to work that a little bit to get it down there. My canvas is dipped. So now I'm just pulling back and forth with my color. To create just a real abstract look, okay? So this is pretty all by itself, just like it is. I'm gonna add just a smidge of that gold to the top, and that's it. We're gonna let that dry, just like that. Let me put that in the water. So just like that. So you want to get your plaster on as quick as you can so that it's still wet. You can also have, keep on hand on your art table like a little mister bottle. And if you're not moving as fast as you kind of need to be, you can mist it with a smidge of water before you apply your paint. But you definitely want your plaster to be wet when you add your paint colors so that it intermixes and blends. Okay. So what we're gonna do is add some elements to this, and then we're gonna pour some resin over the top. I know in the camera, this probably looks like it's it's like brown or something, but it is metallic, okay? It is a metallic taupe, and it is really sparkly and shiny and pretty. So we're gonna add some more pretties to that and pour some resin. I'm gonna make my comments come back. Okay, so thank you for the sprinkles. Thank you for the sprinkles. And oh, that moving my canvas around just unfocused the camera, didn't it? So let's make sure it focuses back in. Law have mercy. I'm gonna keep my hands out of it. There we go. So this, what I'm gonna use is platinum crushed glass. I do sell this in my store at artshattered.com. I think I have like 24 different colors of glass for sale in my store. I'm running a little low right now because we got bombarded over the weekend with orders. We have so many orders. My girl Carla is gonna die when she comes to work tomorrow. But we have so many orders. So if we're low on the color you want, just give us a few days. We got glass coming, ordered a bunch yesterday, so we should be getting it all back in. And if you'll just give us some grace. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this platinum glass, and you see how delicious that is. It's kind of a champagne color. And I'm just gonna put it randomly along our taupey line here. Maybe use a little more. And I'm just using a handful. Put that over there. Just using a handful of this glass. I'll spread it out a little. And I also have, look at these nuggets. So what I also have is some of these glass chips. I want to take the red ones out because those are for something else. I'm gonna take these out. Give me a sec. Those are for a different project. I just grabbed them so I could do it here while I was working. And so here are a few random white iridescent. Look at this one. I don't know if you can see the iridescence of that. And we are gonna have these back in stock very soon, so don't freak out. We have been out of stock on these for a hot minute, but we actually have a big order coming in. So I want to add just a few of these to my piece here as well. But before I do, I actually have a little bit of Starfire, which is colorless. I buy them from Becky. I buy these nuggets from a glass artist. And they'll be back in my store by probably by Tuesday. Okay, so you'll be able to purchase them from me. So this is Starfire. It's just colorless. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that as well, just to kind of bring some color down. And I also have, I found this baggie as well. And this is our clear classic, but it's 1/2 inch, so it's a little bit bigger than, I'm gonna show you an example. So this is 1/2 inch, and this is 1/4 inch. So you can see the difference in those two. So I do wanna put a couple of the smaller 1/2 inch pieces, not too many. I don't wanna overpower, but I'm gonna put a couple of these larger pieces. Oh, well, that one's gone. And here as well, just for fun, just for giggles. I'm gonna put a couple on each side. You just never know what I'm gonna throw in here. And let's see, remember when I did the flower the other day and I had all these curvy pieces? I may throw in a couple of those just for fun too. I just like to throw all kinds of little goodies in. Okay, so now we're gonna add in a couple of these. I don't really want this huge pop of color. Oh, that's not bad though. That's not bad. Okay, these are pretty clear, just kind of iridescent. So I'm gonna throw a couple of these in. I'm not sure I like that or not, I don't know. And so I'm gonna go put one here. I like working with odds, like odd numbers. So we're gonna go with 3 over here. We might have to throw in one more that has a tiny bit of color in it. Oh my goodness, y'all, look how delicious. let's get this off so it doesn't distract. Look how delicious that is. What do you guys think? You love it or not? Nah? Yes, that is spectacular. I am digging the little pop of color here and there. So we are gonna go with this and we are gonna go ahead and mix resin. So basically I added just a couple handfuls of the platinum reflective. Then I put in a few little nuggets of the 1/2 inch clear, a tiny little handful of Starfire, and then all these little delicious extra little pieces here and there. So we're gonna work with that. So I'm gonna make 1 ounce of resin. I'm pretty sure, I might better make a little more than that. That's a good bit of glass. That'll probably take 1 ounce right there. So I may do, see, I already marked my cups and now I've changed my mind. So I may do, I gotta mark them again because we're gonna do a little more than that. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces because I think 1 ounce is gonna take to cover this, and then we'll have 1/2 ounce for the rest. So let's remark our cup at 3/4. And don't get on there. 3/4. And I usually mark this with a pen, guys, but I keep forgetting to bring a little pen up here. I'm working at home instead of my art studio because I was having troubles with my interweb this past week. So I moved everything home and I haven't moved it back. So have 2 cups. We're gonna do 3/4 ounce in each cup, 3/4 ounce of hardener, 3/4 ounce of resin. So I use art resin. It is a 2-part resin. It is made specifically for art, and it's made in the USA, and it is a 2-parter. You have resin and hardener, no VOCs. You can see that, no VOCs, no BPAs. It is a non-hazmat resin. It is a I won't say non-yellowing because all resins yellow over time, but it has the highest rating for non-yellowing. But whatever resin you use, I would suggest this all day long. But if you decide to use something else, you need to follow the directions on whatever resin you're using. They're not going to be the same. All resin is not created equal. And if you get a really bad stinky one, you might be sorry. So anywho, we're going to get started on that. And I'm going to grab some gloves. I have my gloves this time. I kept forgetting them. So I am going to grab my gloves. Hey, Maine. And put them on the right way. We're going to mix some resin. I keep turning my art piece. And I'm going to pour my resin in my cups right here on top of my art piece. But I'm going to just put a little, what do you call it? I'm going to tell you, don't do this, okay? I'm taking a chance by doing this because I have a limited amount of space. But don't do this at home. Mix your resin off of your art piece because if you spill some of one part or the other, you might have a little sticky mess and then you'll be so sad. So don't do me. Don't do what I'm doing. So in this cup, I'm gonna put the hardener and with 3/4 ounce. So I'm gonna pour that right now. I gotta remember to go to the second line. Whoa, Nellie. And when you get close to your line, you want to stop so that you make sure you have the right measurement because it will grow on you like molasses. You pour a little bit on your plate. Yeah, don't do what I did. A little bit on your plate and then suddenly it's all over the place. So that is our resin. No, that's our hardener. We're gonna set that there and then I'm gonna move here and I'm gonna pour the resin up to my line. Whoa, Nellie. Whoa. All right. I'm a professional. I'm a professional, all right. I want to put that under there. I'm going to elevate my canvas in just a minute after I do my resin. Oh, that is an old cup that I used yesterday, and it's got all kinds of debris in it, so we're not going to use that. We're going to get us a new one because we don't want debris in our art. Okay, so something else I did yesterday is I was so tired last night when we finished that I left my little mixer in my resin cup and it was stuck in the bottom. So I had to like pull it out, and now it's like, it doesn't want, that little head of it doesn't want to go back in the handle. So thank God I have like 10 of these that members have given me and that I've bought. So what we're gonna do is pray that the top doesn't fall off, that our little thingy, because it won't go back in there. Ugh. So we're gonna pour our resin and our hardener into 1 cup, and we're gonna mix it together. Hope our little piece stays together. So scrape that out really well, because you don't want to mess up your measurement by not getting all of the juice out of the cup. So scrape that out really well. And now we'll use the other. So you're gonna mix those two together, equal parts. So this is 3/4 of an ounce and 3/4, so that's gonna give us 1.5 ounces. And we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that works. I think it'll be okay. I think it will. Sometimes my resin measurer is off a little bit. Depends on how tired I am. So there's as much out of there as I could get as well. Throw that out. And so we're going to mix. So Catherine, if you will time me, I'm gonna mix this for 3 minutes starting now. So we're just gonna stir lightly. You're not gonna stir really hard and just beat this to death, because that's gonna incorporate a lot of bubbles, and you don't want a whole ton of bubbles in your art piece. We're gonna use some heat to pop those, but you don't want them in there anyway, so try to just stir slowly, and scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, and make sure that's mixed really well for 3 minutes. I know, y'all. I know I like living life on the edge. I am living life on the edge, doing this over my canvas, aren't I? Well, I have a limited amount of space, so I have to live on the edge. So I wanted to tell you too, while I was mixing this, if you join the Shattered Circle, you also have the option to join our Beginners Boot Camp, which is a one-time fee of $97. And it's really just for beginners. It's for basic learning, kind of get you started in glass art. There are 4 projects in our boot camp, and they range from simple beginner to more advanced. Okay, so each of the 4 projects takes you another step closer to being a more advanced glass artist. That is the goal intended. There are so many learning tools inside there, videos on how to break glass, videos on how to cut glass, what tools you need, what products you need, how to tint resin, where to find glass, all the things you need to know to complete your art projects, okay? That is our Beginners Boot Camp, and if you join the membership, it is $97 for Beginners Boot Camp, one-time fee. And if you don't want to join the Shattered Circle and you want to take boot camp, it is $127, and all you need to do is email us at info@theshatteredcircle.com and let us know you're not ready to join the membership, but you do want to join our boot camp. Okay, boot camp is a standalone course. There is no Facebook group support in boot camp, but you can always email us and ask any questions, okay? It's a work at your own pace course, so you can take a month, 6 months, or a year to do your boot camp course, or 2 years. Once you purchase it, it is yours always, okay? So, boot camp and the Shattered Circle. The Shattered Circle is our membership group, where it's kind of like Netflix for artists. You pay monthly, and we do two different art projects each month, sometimes more, depends on what's happening. Thank you, Jamie. Depends on what's happening during the holidays. We usually do a lot more than 2, and So we also have a private Facebook group for our Shattered Circle, which is worth its weight in gold. I'm just telling you that right now. Honestly, the group, the Facebook group of our members is really what you're probably buying. Thank you, Rima. Our Facebook group is worth the weight in gold, and the art is just a bonus because our group is so supportive. And Linda, it is a standalone boot camp, so the minute you pay, you can start. You'll get a link, and you can start as you wish. You can start today, you can start next week, you can start next month, you can start in 6 months. It is a work at your own pace system, okay? So you just do it however you want. You'll get a link automatically. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour my resin on my glass first, okay? That way we know how much resin we're using. I'm gonna start on the right side and I'm just gonna work over to the left, drizzling the resin over the top of this glass. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is gonna be spectacular. Spectacular. So, anybody who has a question about our boot camp or about the Shattered Circle, can answer you, or some of the people online with you right now are members. We have a lot of our members on here watching right now, so they can answer your questions as well. And yes, you can do this over glass. Glass on glass is actually beautiful. If you want to check out my Art Shattered Facebook page, you'll see I did a sunflower on a glass window probably a year or so ago, and it is gorgeous, if I say so myself. It is super spectacular. So glass on glass looks really, really good. So I'm just gonna keep drizzling till all my glass is covered. Almost done. Then I want to pour some of this resin on the flat surface as well, because we want everything to be covered. I'm going to save a little bit of that in case I need it. So now I'm just going to use my little tool, and this is literally a makeup applicator. You can sell these pieces. The only qualification we have is you can't teach my art, okay? You can make 100 of these. Of everything we do in our workshops, you can make them and sell them as much as you want. They belong to you. The only thing you cannot do is take my art pieces and teach them to other people for free or for profit. That is our only stipulation, that you don't teach what we're teaching you. Okay, so you can sell these all day long, and one art piece, selling one piece. This piece right here is a 10 by 10. I sell this for $69. That will more than cover your membership for 1 month. So you only really need to sell one small piece of art to break even for the cost of the membership. So I'm going to spread this out. So boot camp starts when you register. If you pay for the boot camp, you should get a link inside the Shattered Circle for the Shattered Circle and for boot camp. And once you pay for it, you own it. It belongs to you, and you have an unlimited amount of time to do your art pieces. And I think somebody asked something about boot camp. Let's see. Let me see. I may have missed it. I hope somebody else answered it. I'm sure Catherine did, or Rima, or somebody. But yeah, abstracts are, I want you, if you missed the video from this morning where I did, or this afternoon, where I did this piece, it literally took me, I think, 7 minutes. It was super easy, so I'd encourage you, I'm gonna scrape out whatever's left. I would encourage you to go back and watch this video. And really, abstracts are just, you know, when you're doing an abstract, you just need to let go of trying to make everything perfect, okay? You need to let go of perfection and straight, look, it fell off. perfection and straight lines and that sort of thing, okay? So you just let it go and just kind of let your, I don't know what to do with this now. I'm gonna put it on, I'm gonna put it somewhere. I'm gonna put it on this cup. I'll put it right there so I don't lose it. I'm gonna have to shove it back in there. So we have completed our resin. I put it on my glass first, and then I smeared it around with my tool, or you can actually just use your gloved hands too, and smooth it around. Make sure your edges are nice. And now what we're gonna do is hit it with a quick torch. I'm gonna try to salvage these because I may come back. I have to do a cross, and I know I've done a million crosses online for you guys, just a regular O cross on a 6x12, but I'm gonna come back and do that again in a little bit after I eat my supper, so I wanna save these gloves for that as well. Yeah, that's what I'll have to do, because I literally had to pull it out of the cup this morning. So I'm gonna grab my blocks while I show this to you guys up close and personal. Look how awesome that looks. Is that not delicious? Can you see the sparkle of the little iridescence? So pretty, so pretty. I love the pop of color. That turned out really nicely. So that is that. I'm gonna tuck my little blocks under, so if I have any drippage, which I rarely do, it won't stick my art piece to the table. And I'm gonna hit it with my torch just for one quick second. Now there is a lot of texture in this piece, okay? A lot of crackle, you can kind of start to see it. There's a lot of crackle and a lot of texture in the piece. And right, unless I go to sleep, a lot of texture in this piece, so I wouldn't stress myself too much about bubbles in this piece, but I'm gonna hit it just real quick with my torch. Boom, 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 like 3 seconds. Just hit it, once up, once down, once up, once down, be done, okay? Kristen, I'm gonna tell you this about wearing a mask. It is up to you. I never wear a mask when I'm doing resin. Art resin is a non-hazmat, but I'm not gonna tell you not to wear one. Some people are super sensitive to smell. This doesn't really smell that much. I'm trying to get this little hair out or something. I don't know what it is. I just keep pushing it. I need my toothpicks. I'm not gonna tell you not to wear one because you may need to, because if you're super sensitive to smell, but I have never worn a mask with art resin and I've never had a problem, okay? Why won't that come out? Hang on. This one's being a little booger. I'm just scooting it around. I may have to live with it. I'll put it on that crackle line. Oh, there it goes, there it goes. All right, got it. So anyway, it was just the tiniest piece of debris. So if you're using art resin, I'm gonna tell you that I don't hardly ever wear a mask with that, or I really have never worn a mask with art resin. It doesn't have a really strong smell, but you do need to be working in a well-ventilated area no matter what you're using. Some of those resins are awful. They stink, they're hazmat-y, they smell awful, they'll stink your house up for days. This one, not so much. Check it out. Is that not a bunch of deliciousness right there?